As dawn breaks over a movable city of 10,000 yurts, Queen Borachtin is in for a rude awakening. A rogue sheep has slipped past her servants and guards and bolted into her yurt, where he springs into bed and bleats in her ear. Although she's a formidable Khatan of the Golden Horde, a huge kingdom in the Mongolian Empire, Borachtin has a hands-on approach to ruling. She's been married to Batu Khan, the fearsome grandson of Genghis Khan himself, since she was 15, and while her husband is out on his raids, she juggles the duties of flocks, family, and empire at home. This makes her the manager and the mover of a city of thousands. Twice a year, Borachtin moves the city between two seasonal camping grounds. This ensures constant water and lush grass in summer, and protection from harsh winds in winter. The whole operation requires weeks of strict planning, liaising with other camps in her domain, strategic delegation, and the patience to move at the speed of dawdling animals. Today is moving day, and she'll have to direct throngs of her ladies, commanders, slaves, and animals up the river Volga for the summer. As Borachtin steps outside, she's greeted by a commotion. Her unwanted visitor is now running circles around her stewards. They're attempting to stow her possessions securely into wagons. Borachtin orders them to get it under control, but she's the only one quick enough to catch the stray. She next supervises her ladies, who are unpinning her yurt and lifting it onto its custom wagon. It requires a team of 20 oxen to pull, and Borachtin wouldn't trust anyone to steer it but herself. Next, Borachtin and her woolly companion meet with the guards. She orders them to keep close watch on her husband's special reception yurt and portable throne during the journey. They'll also act as outriders, and she tells them how to secure the route, surround her for safety, and keep the animals in check. But when the sheep finally breaks free and makes for the fields, the guard can barely keep up as it scampers through crowds packing up their yurts. Exasperated, Borachtin rides down to the pastures herself. When she gets there, she catches sight of the troublesome sheep, wriggling into the middle of a flock. When she follows him in, he's nestled next to a ewe, his mother. She's pregnant and seems to be in pain. With a start, Borachtin realizes that this ewe's impending delivery has been forgotten in the flurry of moving day. There's no time to find a shepherd. Instead, Borachtin rolls up her sleeves, greases her arm, and helps the ewe give birth to 2 new additions to the empire. Leaving the lambs and their mother, Borachtin dashes back to the camp. Here, the final touches have been put to packing, and vehicles are starting to line up. This vast procession starts with the Queen and 200 wagons filled with her treasures. Next up are the junior wives and crew, then the concubines, and this is only Borachtin's camp. After this comes the second imperial camp led by another senior wife, then 2 more camps, also led by wives. Borachtin has been checking in with them for weeks to ensure a smooth departure and orderly queue, but they only make up the royal portion of the line. Behind them winds the entire civilian city, which includes holy men with portable chapels and mosques, families, tradesmen, and shepherds. Finally, Borachtin settles into her wagon. It'll take weeks to reach their destination, but over the course of the journey, she'll keep everyone expertly in check, from her proud children and attentive subjects to the most meandering sheep at the back of the line. Want to know more about Borachtin's husband's grandfather? Learn more with this lesson on history versus Genghis Khan.